This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
And here we have a specimen from the early 2000s, a legacy investing platform. Please don't touch the exhibit, folks. It could crash.
Ready to step out of the financial history museum? At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
You know, I didn't like the way we were playing this act, so I just told them, hey, we're going to live and die with me. Y'all, don't nobody like it. Sit your ass down right here. Don't come out here, but we coming through me. You know, that's why I like Sam to come in. You know, I let them do their things for 3/4, come 4/4, bring it to the ticket. Carry it.
You find this funny, Mr. Grow? You're smiling. You find this humorous? No, they're not. You find this humorous, Mr. Grow? You're laughing and smiling. I'm just wondering if you do. You didn't answer my question, Mr. Grow. Do you find this humorous?
No, I find it keeping the 4 years.
At least you're not smiling and laughing now. Oh, I guess you're back at it again now.
Very funny. Very funny.
We're happy for you.
You just have to draw your own conclusions, people.
Rocky.
Capriza.
Can't pitch. They can't hit. What is with? I mean, come on.
He's
the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the North. This is the Common Man, Dan Cole.
So, what does your boyfriend do for a living? So, that's what it's like to win a Stanley Cup. That looked fun. Crowd all fired up on their feet, cheering it for a long time, too, because it was sort of preordained. They're up 3-0. Not the most dangerous lead in hockey. 2-0 was, and that's why I was worried about Flo Rida. Up 2-0 in the third period. I'm thinking, well, that's the most dangerous lead in hockey. This thing's going 7. But lo and behold, there are teams that can hold off another team when they have a 2-0 lead. They increased it to 3-0. And then, obviously, Edmonton, because that's the way it should be pronounced. It's not Edmonton. It should be Edmonton. That's the way it's spelled. Edmonton, they pulled their goalie with 5-6 minutes to go because you're down 3. You're down 3-0. Katie barred the door and
backs against the wall.
Yeah, well, actually against the what are they called? The dasher boards.
Yeah,
their back was against the dasher, not the wall, but the dasher board. And you got to score there, and they didn't. And then it was 4th. You know what? I'm sorry that record of is only the 4th player in history to have a hat trick in a deciding game in the Stanley Cup Finals. Well, that's an empty net. It counts, kind of. It's there. He scored 3 goals, but he just flipped it into an empty net. He didn't have to beat anybody. So, that's what it's like. And boy, the crowd was, they had the whole third period to celebrate. It wasn't like it all erupted at one moment because it was, it's 2-2. We're counting down under 30 seconds, and boom, they score and they celebrate, or an overtime winner. They had the whole third period. Wouldn't that be fun? We wouldn't know what that's like here. We've not won it.
I wouldn't mind just even being on Edmonton's side, just getting there and losing.
Well, there's that. So that is that.
There's that.
For me, the only I know my hockey. I told Mark Rosen that the Panthers would win, and I won money doing it. Though I hedged my bet yesterday. I thought Edmonton might dig down deep. I guess I'm right when I think Connor McDavid
is overrated
because boy, he really helped last night. Well, Mr. Best player in hockey, scores at will. He's the Mike Jordan of the National Hockey League. In his sidekick, Batman and Robin Draisaitl, where were they?
MIA.
They were MIA. They were missing in action. And so Edmonton probably needs to go back to the drawing board. But that's 2 in a row for the Panthers. Tennessee, I just came up with and I think I'm going to have this copyrighted. They could 3-peat.
Ooh, I like that.
So anybody ever uses 3-peat on any merchandise, I'm going to get a boatload of money. Has anybody ever, I bet back in the old days when there were only 6 teams, I'm sure somebody 3-peated.
Oh, sure. I'm sure Montreal did.
Did post 6 teams, has anybody 3-peated that you know of? Has anybody in the last 25, 30, 40 years, since you've been walking planet, well, you started crawling at first, and then did you learn to skate before you learned to walk?
Well, if you've seen me run before, you'd probably think I did learn to skate before I ran.
Yeah. Well, here's what I will tell you. I mean, you're in the same ballpark as most of those NHLers when it comes to skating. You're in their ballpark. You can skate a little bit. Can you skate?
The New York Islanders, 1980 to 1983.
So they won one.
Well, they won a 4th straight title, actually, 1984.
Seriously.
If that's right.
Now, stop for a second, because I just got to see. Now, this was back in the... So let me see if I can even remember who was playing on that team. Don't tell me yet. I'll know the names as soon as you say them. I can't remember. Who were they?
Yeah, I was going to be able to name one. Trottier.
Oh, yeah, Trottier.
Dennis Potvin, Mike Bossy.
Yep.
Bob Nystrom, Clark Gillies.
I know.
I think that was Colton Gillies' dad. Colton Gillies was a first-round pick for the Minnesota Wild
really?
That ended up being a bust.
The Gillies name was the only one I didn't recognize. I recognized all the others.
Billy Smith.
Yeah, goaltender. Billy Smith is good.
But he ended up being GM for the Minnesota Twins, too, so exactly. It was quite a career.
He spanned both. He was their goaltender. He was a hell of a netminder. Do you like calling him a goaltender or a netminder?
I kind of like netminder.
I do too, netminder. Do you like saying assist or helper?
I like saying apple.
Huh? I'd not heard that one.
They call it an apple.
Who? When you say they, who is they?
The trendy kids.
Okay. Just like they call it, can you do me a solid? What does that mean? Do me a favor. Oh, sure. Can you sauce me the salt and pepper? My kids have all sorts of... and then I think I told you, this was my favorite, and I use it all the time. So there was only 3 of us, so we got paired up with a rando on the first tee. You don't say a random individual, you just say a rando. I love that. That's so good. I'm going to start beating rando into the ground. So, yeah. Matter of fact, I had to share the elevator today with a rando is what I had to do, and I didn't want to. He walked in. I've told you, I should have walked. I've done that before. I've walked out of the elevator before when somebody walks in. I have this.
Really?
I have a phobia. Yeah. Is there a phobia of not wanting to be in an elevator with somebody? They have a name for it? Because, arachnophobia, I think, is a fear of spiders. You don't like spiders. Is it you that doesn't like spiders or? I
don't think anyone likes spiders.
But they don't, there are people that my wife, I'm not saying she panics, but she does.
Mine does.
Does she?
Oh, yeah.
They don't bother me like that at all. If the incy-wincy spider went up the water spout, down came the water and washed the spider out, it's not that big of a deal. But I think that's called...
What if it's crawling on you in the middle of the night?
That's all right. I think it's called arachnophobia.
That is, yeah. There's a movie about it.
Now, if it's a black widow or a tarantula, I'm a bit panicked. But if it's just your little old daddy long legs, your garden variety spider, I've told you this, and I know you're the opposite. Other than flies and mosquitoes, I don't even kill insects. I chase them out of the house. Flies, I don't. I'm sorry, man. They're dirty, nasty. They like hanging around on excrement, animal excrement, and it's just I can't do it. Did you ever see the movie where the guy turned into a fly? Did you ever see that movie? The one I'm talking? It's called The Fly. Did you ever see it? Oh, breaking news! They've won a 3rd Stanley Cup.
Former Packers quarterback Jair Alexander has signed with
the Minnesota Vikings.
A team in purple, the Baltimore Ravens.
You know what? We don't want troublemakers here. We don't need him. He's a guy that doesn't want to play. Oh, he's listed as good to go. I don't feel like it. A little bit of a nagging injury there. I think I'll take the day off. We don't need that here. We want people that are 40 for 60 and 70 in this town. Well, you know what he would do, Tennessee? We have the perfect culture here. He'd ruin our culture. That's like speaking of flies, that's like putting a fly in the ointment. Did you ever see the movie The Fly?
No.
Oh, gosh. Some guy, I can't remember. It's a really well-known actor. This is a movie from the 80s or 90s. And he invents some contraption where, you become what's that? I don't know. Anyways, he gets into this contraption. I don't know what it's supposed to do to him because I don't remember. I was drunk when I watched the movie. But there was a fly inside the machine, so he turned into a fly. Oh, it's creepy looking, man. It's considered, I think Rotten Tomatoes gives it has Rotten Tomatoes ever given a movie over 100? Because I think this one got over 100. It's probably supposed to be really, really good. But, and I don't remember it very well because, like I say, I think I was drunk and high. He looks high, but he don't look drunk, as we like to say. So congratulations to the Panthers, to the Flo Rida Cats, 2 in a row. Tennessee, do they have the wherewithal? I'm not sure if you're paying as close attention to Florida Panther hockey as you once did, but do they have all their best players locked up, or are there free agencies?
No.
Oh.
So that's where they might end up losing some guys, though, maybe some of those guys just love playing there so much they take the old hometown discount. But
sure.
Sam Bennett, who just won the Conn Smythe last night for MVP of the playoffs, he's a free agent. He's going to get paid lots of money.
What's his name?
Sam Bennett.
What position does he play? A center, you say?
Sure, yeah.
How much money do we have now with Parisi and Suter gone?
Well, I was just looking at that today. It feels like we have a lot of money just because we've had zero.
But we ain't got a lot of money.
But compared to other teams in the NHL, there's a lot of teams with cap space. I think we have the 20th most cap space in the NHL.
That can't be possible.
Yeah.
Why did the hockey community keep saying this is what I've been waiting for? This is why I eschewed the get to the Western Conference Finals and get back to me. I was doing the old get out from under the onerous Parisi Suter contracts and get back to me. And now you're telling me we as a salesperson here used to famously say, well, they ain't got a lot of money. Is that true?
We have a lot of money compared to what we've had. Yeah. But we don't. But we don't have a lot of money compared to the rest of the league. There are multiple teams that have $30 to $40 million in cap space. So when it comes to the big dogs, the Mitch Marners of the world and maybe Sam Bennett. I'm guessing somebody's just going to offer them more than what we're going to offer.
So you're telling me the big dogs are going to eat, but they're not going to be eating at the St. Paul Grill?
No. But previously we had no dogs. So now we might be able to get some little dogs, like some Roma-sized dogs.
Roma. Give me a player that you would consider a Roma-sized dog. Just throw out a name. It's not important. It's just a bit I'm trying to do.
Yeah, we can get someone like the 6. Let's just go Brock Besser.
Brock Besser.
Yeah.
If Brock Besser fell through the ice on the river, would you go in after him? Because you know when you would for Roma, would you go in after Brock?
If you sign with the Wild, yes.
Very
if
good.
he's still somewhere else, then no.
We'll take a break. We'll come back with a little Dis Stat Lad right here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at Public.com. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors for the next era of gaming. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Brad, Sean, Brian text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
We had a terrific time yesterday with the KFAN Talkbacks on a Talkback Tuesday. A lot of interesting talkbacks, some that really made no sense, some that had nothing to do with anything. We even got to the point where we started dipping into Paul Allen ones, but those go deep into the woods when it comes to sports. Yikes. I don't know if I dare go that direction ever again. Peek at the Purple brought to you by Affordable Electric. Affordable Electric. If you'll remember, May was National Electrical Safety Month, but Affordable Electric with, they believe electrical safety and energy readiness is a year-round priority, so they're extending their free in-person electrical evaluations through July 16th for homeowners who own or occupy their homes. Reach out today. Visit affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric is... Boy, yeah. It's affecting my lungs now, too. It's shockingly affordable. Tennessee, now I'm gonna merge peek at the purple with lazy list radio.
Okay.
I ran into one of those lists. Every NFL franchise's best team of the Super Bowl era. I didn't see the Super Bowl era part first. I just saw the headline, best team. Scrolled into the NFC North, and I'm saying, well, there have been better teams than like they had for the Lions, the 91 Lions.
Yeah.
Remember they went to the NFC Championship. I'm going, the 57 Lions were the best team. The 35 Lions were best. I was thinking they were doing the old anything, if you know what Pete's buddy told me? This is what he told me. He was back visiting. This kid's a genius, right? Lon. He's going to be like a nuclear physicist, electrical engineer, or something like that. He's got to go back to school for 4 more years. He goes to Texas. He's a Longhorn, right? He said when he was a little kid, he thought because pictures were black and white, he thought the world was black and white, and then eventually they invented color.
Huh?
I just love that. Isn't that cool? He goes, yeah, I just thought it when I was a little tiny kid. I thought, well, everything was black and white at one time. And, when you look at pictures from, the 1900s, the 1910s, 20s, 30s, 40s, he said then they invented color. But it's almost as if when they put these lists together, it's like, if it happened before we had, a DVR and a remote control, the HD TV, it doesn't count. But this did say best team of the Super Bowl era for each and every franchise. Tennessee would be simple for the Lions. I just told you.
Yeah.
What do you think the best Bears team was? Again, how easy is that?
1985.
The 85 Bears team. Who do you think they had Green Bay Packers best team in the Super Bowl era?
I mean, they had the one that Favre won. I know they went to the big game.
That's the one.
Back-to-back years. Was that 97?
96.
16-3
overall. Featured league MVP Brett Favre. Boasted the NFL's top-ranked scoring offense and defense during the regular season. That's pretty nifty. The 66 Packers, the first Super Bowl champs, were an awesome team with a slew of Hall of Fame players, but they weren't as dominant as the 96 Packers, a team that won 14 games by at least 10 points. In fact, in their final 8 games of the 96 season, all victories, the Packers' margin of victory was a whopping 21.1 points. In postseason, Green Bay outscored the opposition 100-48. The Packers capped off their dominant season by defeating the Pats in Big Game 31 or XXXI 35-21. Star of the game return specialist Desmond Howard, 90-yard kickoff return for a TD, helped clinch the team's first. Brett Favre, blah 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 blah. Reggie White, the whole thing. I'd forgotten or maybe didn't even realize how dominant that team was.
Yeah.
Those are astonishing numbers. Because I was going to say, well, that's 66, 67, 68, 69. Those Packers teams were really, really good. Those were the first Super Bowls. But I can't imagine they dominated like this. Best scoring defense, best scoring offense, margin of victories in their last 8 games. What is it, over by 10 points or more? And
then they had a returner win MVP in the Super Bowl,
yes,
didn't they?
Yeah, we just said that. Yeah, Desmond Howard. He won it. Minnesota Vikings. Boy, this is a tough one. Super Bowl era. Though I might argue with.
I was going to say it kind of is a tough one.
I might argue. I mean, I'm guessing you're. Who do you think they're going to?
Well, I mean, I was not alive for any of the teams that went to the big game in the 70s. So it's really hard for me to comment on that. I can only really comment on what I've seen.
Yep.
And for me, the 98 Vikings is not only the best Vikings team I've ever seen, it's the best Minnesota sports team I've ever seen. That's counting 2 World Series Twins teams, which makes the ending all the more disappointing. But that team was as good as I've ever seen.
That Frost Club is pretty good, too, but I get your point.
Yeah.
Vikings in 98, that is who they select. 16-2 overall, featured the highest scoring offense at the time in NFL history. They posted a 16.3 average margin of victory. Again, I didn't remember that. I'm sure at the time I did.
Oh, they just steamrolled teams.
With respect to Bud Grant's 4 big game teams, the 98 Vikings are the most dominant team in franchise history. They are also arguably the greatest NFL team that didn't reach the big game, and you could probably make that argument. Led by Hall of Fame receivers Randy Moss, that year's Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Chris Carter, All-Pro quarterback Randall Cunningham, Hall of Fame defensive end Johnny Randall, an offensive line that featured 3 Pro Bowlers and long snapper Mike Morris. Probably the greatest I threw that in there. They didn't list that in there. I just wanted to give Mike some props.
And a great backup linebacker, Pete Vercich.
The Vikings lost one game to the Bucs in Week 9, only by 3 during the regular season. Minnesota, which scored a then NFL record 556 points during the regular season, ran away from the Cardinals in the divisional round before hosting the Falcons in the NFC title game. Just in case you don't remember what happened in that, Tenneby, they've explained it. I can read it to you. Despite jumping out to a 27 lead, the Vikings never fully distanced themselves from the Falcons, who pulled it within a touchdown in Minnesota late in the fourth quarter. And then with a 7-point lead, this happened. And it sounded sort of like this.
Hold on, I wasn't ready.
Sorry, yeah, I did. I was trying to tap this. I thought it might be quicker to get to. If you'll remember, this happened. It was late in the fourth quarter of that NFC Championship game all those years ago. Many years ago.
And also, I have 2 kicks. Oh, there we go. That's the one I want.
Yeah.
The placement, the kick. It is no good. It missed wide to the left. Unbelievable.
No, it was believable.
Unbelievable. Anderson's last field goal miss, the 15th of December, 1997, against Denver. Morton Anderson, the left-footed kicker, the soccer-style kicker, attempting a 38-yard field goal to put the Falcons in the Super Bowl. Straczynski to Hull from the near side hash. Here's the placement. The kick. High. End over end. It's gone, and the Falcons are going to the Super Bowl.
His excitement didn't quite match the sound of the crowd, did it? But here's what I will tell you, Tenneby, and I know everybody wants to lay it on Gary Anderson. We still had a 7-point lead. I mean, stop the other club again. Can't just make another stop, but they couldn't.
No.
And that's the way the old ball bounces. That's your peek at the purple. Brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Remember, safety comes first with Affordable Electric. Locally owned and operated. It's Affordable Electric. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. They are shockingly affordable. Got some controversial Vikings news other side of the break on the Common Man program on the Fan.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at Public.com. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you. Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
head back to the 50s at the Minnesota Street Rod Association event June 20th through the 22nd at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Enjoy the classic car marketplace, T6 flyover, the Great Race, Cruise and Art Craft Fair, and so much more. Head over to our contest page for a shot at a pair of tickets. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest to enter.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program. You can call us 1-800-320-5326. It's just going to ring and ring and ring and ring, if it rings at all. Then there's the email address, booth@kfan.com, the talkbacks. We talked about the talkbacks. iHeartRadio app, download the fan, and then use this as make us a preset, too, if you don't mind. And then you tap the microphone icon in the corner of the screen, and then you have 30 seconds or less to deliver us an audio message. Then there is the ever-popular Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line, a.k.a. the Holla Hotline. Yeah. That's a 64686. This one says, Common, most of us listeners were having a great day until you decided to dredge up the hauntingly dark disappointment of the 1999 NFC Championship game. Don't blame me. I didn't miss the kick. Then he says, can you recap the Packers-Seahawks NFC Championship game from 2014? We might do that later.
I always love that one.
It's always a lot of fun for us. That's the greatest game in Minnesota Vikings history. If I was ranking the best games in Viking history, I would say number one is Packers-Seahawks 2014 NFC Championship game. So here you learn something new every day.
Seattle to the line of scrimmage now. They move into the pistol. Baldwin 6 catches, 107 yards. Receivers left and right. And here's the snap. Wilson looking, lofts it deep over the middle. Over the shoulder, catch is made. Touchdown. Game over. Jermaine Kearse on the touchdown. They beat Tramon Williams.
They beat Tramon.
And this championship game goes to Seattle.
It's always nice having Cesar Romero in the press box. You know, that laugh he would always do anytime right at the end of the game. It's much like when Danny Don Meredith used to do the turn out the lights, the party's over, when the game was no longer in doubt. I just loved when they had Cesar Romero in the press box. So, you know, that movie, The Fly, Teneby, it got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. I wonder what the highest ranked movie ever is on Rotten Tomatoes. But 93%. The actor was Jeff Goldblum. And basically the overview of the movie is, when scientist Seth Brundle, Jeff Goldblum, completes his teleportation device, he decides to test his abilities on himself. Unbeknownst, great word, unbeknownst, UNBEKNOWNST, unbeknownst to him, a housefly slips in during the process, leading to a merger of man and insect. Initially, Brundle appears to have undergone a successful teleportation, but the fly cells begin to take over his body. As he becomes increasingly fly-like, his girlfriend, Gina Davis, can you give me a yeah, baby?
Yeah, baby.
Is horrified as the person she once loved deteriorates into a monster. And Goldblum's brilliant in it. As a matter of fact, there's actually some comic relief in it as well. Now, here's what I didn't know until just
By the way, there's been 68 movies that are in the 100% club on Rotten Tomatoes. So
let me guess, Dumb and Dumber's at the top of that list. Did they get a 100? Because that's your favorite movie of all time, right? Or favorite comedy.
Most of these I've never heard of before. I wonder if they just get so few actual people rating them.
We'll throw out the names of a couple of them. I'll tell you if I've heard of them.
Leave No Trace.
I don't know it.
Toy Story 2.
I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
All We Imagine Is Light. That's a year ago.
I'm not familiar with it.
Gloria.
I'm not familiar with it. You're right. I
thought
Philadelphia
Story.
I do remember that. That was a Tom Hanks. I was about to, I thought I'd recognize everyone. I was going to pick on you. I was going to rip you is what I was going to do.
Toy Story's on there. Hive. The Terminator.
Oh, that didn't get a perfect score, did it? I guess some people liked it, I guess.
From 1944, Laura.
Tell Laura
Pinocchio.
I love her. Is Godfather on the list? I thought that was is The Wizard of Oz on
Cool Hand Luke.
Cool Hand Luke. You smoke in bed, you get a night in the box. You sleep with your shoes in the bed, you get a night in the box. It was a wonderful movie.
Tokyo Story. Seems like a lot of these are really old or really recent.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Robin Hood from 1938. The Kid.
Was Errol Flynn in The Adventures of Robin Hood? Sounds like something he'd do. Do you know did you know the Pioneer Press once described Justin Guard as the Errol Flynn of tennis? Think about that. Errol Flynn of tennis. They should have, if we were doing the Posture Statement Tournament at that time, that would have been nominated, the Errol Flynn. What I didn't realize at the time, Tenebid, is that The Fly was a remake of the 1958 thriller starring Vincent Price. Wasn't Vincent Price featured in the video Michael Jackson's Thriller? I think he was. I know more about stuff than I thought I knew about stuff. Of course, that might be totally wrong. But here's the thing about, like, that's like, I didn't know I thought The Fly of 1986 with Jeff Goldblum was the original, right? But there was one that was done in 58. That happens a lot in music where people will hear a song and they'll think it's the first time. Like Brooks and Dunn did My Maria. And people thought, wow, what a great song. Well, no, that song was done by B.W. Stevenson back in 1973. Brooks and Dunn did a great job with it, but, it was a remake and you don't really know it. Most recently, Fast Car. Which country and western guy did that? Was that Toby Keith down at that cowboy restaurant over there? Or was that Keith Urban who did it? Or was it Jelly Roll? Somebody did Fast Car. And that was a Tracy Chapman song. I just called her Trace Chapman because I had a pretty good vibe with her. She did that song like in 1986, I believe. She wrote it, sang, sung it. I think she won a Grammy, Best New Artist. Luke Combs did it, and I think a lot of those country and western fans thought, well, Luke Combs wrote a pretty cool song there. And it's like, no, we didn't. And that's all right. I mean, remakes are cool. So,
Fast Car came out in 1988 by Tracy Chapman.
1988. 1988 is when it came out. I really didn't have any controversial Vikings news. Though I do have another, more list radio. This list is so good. This is you'll like this one, Tenemy. Every NFL team's biggest do-over of all time.
Oh, wow.
Their biggest do-over.
Where do we start?
Of all time. Well, with the Vikings, it's interesting. But we always like to do the NFC North, and we do it in alphabetical order. Chicago Bears, Rex Gross's pick 6 in Super Bowl XLI. The Bears were still very much in big game XLI with 12 minutes to play. That changed, however, when quarterback Rex Grossman threw an ill-advised pass to Muhsin, if that's how you say it, Muhammad, that was intercepted by Kelvin Hayden, returned 56 yards for a tutty. The final score in the Colts 29-17 win.
Wow. What a great thinking all along that Rex Grossman really sucked and that would cost the Bears the Super Bowl mind.
Think about that. I knew it way back then. I knew it before it happened. Instead of throwing to Muhammad, who caught a 22-yard tutty on the previous play in a torrential downpour, the Bears would have been better served giving the ball in that situation to running back Thomas Jones. He only rushed for something like 112 yards and only 15 carries. But it's easy to second guess. But yeah, Rex Grossman throwing a pass in a torrential rainstorm, that would be one you would like to do over.
So they're talking specific plays then. It wasn't just like
yeah, right.
Like my first thought was Herschel Walker trade, right? But if it's not.
This one says Detroit Lions playing it too safe in the 2023 NFC Championship game. And finally, I find somebody that agreed with me. We talked about that in depth. I think most people that when we got on the air Monday after that devastating loss by the Kitties, I think most people thought Dan Campbell made the right decision, and I did not. I'm talking about Dan Campbell received a lot of flack for his 2 unsuccessful fourth down attempts during the Lions' second half collapse against the 49ers. But what is largely overlooked, not by me, is what the Lions did at the end of the first half that contributed to their historic loss. They had 21-7 in the ball inside the 49ers' 10-yard line. The Lions had a chance to build a lead that likely would have been insurmountable, but surprisingly, the Lions got conservative. They called a running play and a short pass play before settling for a short field goal and a 24-7 lead at intermission. prior to going conservative. The Lions did go for the jugular, but Goff misfired on a potential tutty to St. Brown. Either way, had the Lions gotten a tutty, the second half may have played out differently. And I thought the same thing because, remember, they were always pedal to the metal. We go for it on fourth down. We circumstances be damned. And I know the one they're talking about when, I don't remember exactly, how did that go down, Tenneby, where the Lions went for it, and then they got penalized and the other team got penalized. They had to go back 10 yards, and they still went for it again, right? They got stubborn. Do you remember that?
Trying to recall, man. It's amazing how it wasn't that long ago.
They got stubborn and tried it again and again didn't get it. But you know me, if that's what we've done it, let's do it. So I didn't have a problem with it. Green Bay, Mike Holmgren's hiccup in Super Bowl XXXII. The Packers had no answer for Terrell Davis in the big game, despite missing just about the entire second quarter with a migraine. Davis rushed for 156 yards, 2 tutties, 29 carries, his first 29. His 30th resulted in the third tutty that gave Denver a 31-24 lead with 1:47 left. While the Packers had not come up with a way to stop him, Coach Mike Holmgren instructed his defense to let Davis score in order to give Brett Favre and the Packers more time at the end of the game. Favre ultimately drove the Packers to Denver's 31 before firing 3 straight incomplete passes. While Davis likely would have scored regardless, Holmgren's decision to make it a certainty was not viewed well by Packers fans. Reliving that, Tenneby, I don't know if you remember it. I do now that it's been pointed out. If you would have asked me, you remember what the Packers did against Denver? I would not have.
The only thing I remember is John Elway running for a first down and like getting flipped helicopter style in midair. That's all I remember about that game.
Because his 30th carry resulted in his third tutty that gave Denver a 31-24 lead with 1:47 left. The Packers let him score so they'd have more time because they couldn't stop him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they should have tried to stop him? I didn't mind letting him score. If you can't stop
it's probably better off that way.
Yeah, because then you get Favre with an opportunity to win. And then for the Minnesota Vikings, then to be the biggest do-over.
There's lots of options.
Well, there's so many of them. They're almost too hard to... hold on, I just scrolled by them.
Even if you just did the 98 game alone, there's multiple do-overs within that game.
Yeah.
It's and obviously 09.
Well, yeah, it's not from the 98 game. It's from the 09. Brett Favre's faux pas. Vikings were on the verge of punching their big game ticket near the end of the 09 NFC Championship game. With the score tied at 28, the Vikings had the ball at the Saints 33 with 19 seconds left. But after a penalty pushed them, that was the 12-minute in the huddle. That might have even been more of a faux pas. But after a penalty pushed them back 5 yards, Brett Favre, instead of running for several yards, calling a timeout and setting up a game-winning field goal, forced an errant pass that was picked off by Trace Porter. Minnesota never got the ball back and ultimately lost to the eventual big game champion Saints 31-28 in overtime.
Brett Favre goes back to pass. He pumps. Now he fires over the middle. Intercepted. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. It was intercepted by Tracy Porter.
This isn't like
near side to the 40, and John Sullivan runs him down at the 47-yard line. You've got to be kidding me. I can't believe what I just saw.
Looking at that play, he should have just held on to it, Paul. He could have easily gotten 5 or 6 yards if he would have just pulled that thing down and dove forward.
But why do you even ponder passing? I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
See, he agrees with me. It's not the Lions.
Lions catching strays, and they're not even in the game.
Yeah. And Bernard Berrien was also open, like right in front of him, 10 yards down the field, no one within 30 yards.
Well, first off, even just before that, you had 12 men in the huddle off of a timeout.
Right.
Which pushed them back 5 yards, and now they were 3rd and 15, which is why they felt the need to pass, apparently. Otherwise, if they hadn't had the 12 men in the huddle, they probably are running there because they're 5 yards closer to a field goal. So that forces them to think they have to pass. And then to your point, Bernard Berrien's open on the sideline. Favre, I know he had, an ankle that was the size of a softball at that point, but could have ran.
He could have rumbled and
for 5, 6, 7 yards.
Yeah.
Yes. and decides to go, he wanted hero ball.
I truly believe that's what because, the cardinal sin of a quarterback is to throw the ball across your body, and I think he wanted to do it. He did what no quarterback's ever supposed to do, and he did it. He threw the ball, and it just didn't work out. Here's somebody I think they must be a Packer fan, and they might still be in treatment, because he remembers exactly what happened in that Denver Packer game. He says the Packers were out of timeouts versus Denver at that point. You let them score and have 1 minute versus letting them burn 40 more seconds in the kickoff, so you have 15 seconds left, down 2. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we've seen it happen. You see it happen all the time. And now running backs have gotten smart. The other team is going to let them score. How many times do you see the other team is going to let them score and they just go down at the 2-yard line instead? They go, oh, I see what you're up to. That's happened numerous times, right? Mm-hmm. Where the running back just goes down instead of scoring. So,
any other Vikings lowlights you want to play to frustrate the audience?
I can't think of any other. Oh, there are many others, but I don't know how many of them we have in total. How about when we were playing the Cardinals, and if we win the game, we get into postseason. And again, that's not quite as dramatic as an NFC Championship game loss, but maybe we would have went to the big game.
Well, the play-by-play of it might disagree with you in terms of...
It just didn't go down that way, though.
Get back, guys. Here it is. The season's on the line. 2 receivers left and right. McCown takes the snap. He steps up. He's all by himself. Fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No! The Cardinals have knocked the Vikings out of the playoffs.
He's not just a national treasure. He's an intergalactic treasure. That's just so good.
That's Vikings quarterbacks coach Josh McCown. We might need to request him when we go to training camp this year.
I like that.
Ask about the QBs.
Play that for him.
Yeah.
Play
it for him. Ask him about that play. What he remembers.
Poor PA. Is it wrong?
I also love the Joe Sensor. Get back, guys.
Yeah. Is it wrong that I find
you take joy in it?
Joy, happiness in PA's devastation. Somebody said,
well, it's always the consolation prize for Vikings losses, because even as master control supervisor, I would like them to win. But when they lose in devastating fashion, I'm thinking, how good will this the montages are better when it's a sad Paul Allen.
Yeah. Well, this text message says, and this is going back to the highlight, the Favre, this is a Detroit man. He says, you can hear the moment PA's heart breaks. And you can. If you listen closely, you go, right there. That's it. That's where he's heartbroken. Because I think he was like me. I've said this to you hundreds of times. When the Vikings offense trotted back on the field, there was over 2 minutes to go. And I looked at my wife and I said, they are going to I was convinced, even more than, I've told you this, even more than 98, even though 98 seemed more certain because they were up 7 and Anderson was going to kick and put us up 10, right? But I just had bought into the Favre thing. I was idolizing and pedestalizing the Silver Fox. And he'd been so brilliant all season long. And, all the stuff of fairy tales, right? He used to play for the Packers, came back here for revenge, Jan Sturger, that whole thing. And I just thought this was going to happen. And then it didn't. And then I thought to myself, this isn't Detroit, man. This is the big game. And they didn't get there. So, yeah, so that's your biggest do-over. There are others for the purple, obviously. But that's a do-over, I'm sure. Because, again, if Favre doesn't, even if he throws it away, like PA says, you can try a 56-yarder. You might not make it, but at least you can kick the ball. Give it up. It's just awful. But I'm almost glad it happened because we have that highlight with PA for into perpetuity forever.
Huh?
We just have it forever. Clayton from Rochester says, Common, we're embracing the abyss. Over the last 2 weeks, the 09 Vikings and Saints game has been brought up at least 3 times. Sprinkling the Twins trade deadline rumors, best time of the year. Someone says, hey, guys, why don't you bring up the Drew Pearson pushing off Nate Wright play, too, from 1975? Nate Wright he pushed off on Should I get Viking fans going? I'm sorry, man. He pushed off on Drew Pearson. So, yeah. No, there's plenty of them. But I tend to agree with... I guess that Viking team is the best team in postseason. But that 2009 team was really good, too.
They were.
Really good. And due in large part because of Favre and Adrian Peterson was brilliant that year. But, yeah, there you go. Heartbreaks, Paul Allen. Let's take a break. When we come back. 5-3-4-10. What you got?
Yeah, Twins lost another one, and it's time to talk training camp paddles.
Got you.
Want to feel more creative but don't have the right laptop? Lenovo.com can help. Look through our legendary lineup of AI-powered PCs and devices and find the one that fits your passion. Our PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, as well as cutting-edge AI tools, allow students to focus, learn, and create with ease. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Plus, college students and teachers can get 5% off their order. Shop now on Lenovo.com. The future's waiting, and it needs you.
And here we have a specimen from the early 2000s, a legacy investing platform. Please don't touch the exhibit, folks. It could crash.
Ready to step out of the financial history museum? At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
Saks Off 5th, up to 70% off every day. Summer is in full swing here at Saks Off 5th with so many exciting trends to try. From matching sets and floral dresses to wide-leg jeans and chic accessories, find all of this season's must-have styles. Plus, shop new designer arrivals weekly. Find Gucci, Valentino Garavani, Versace, Stuart Weitzman, and more. Head to SaksOff5th.com or a Saks Off 5th store near you for up to 70% off every day.